Are you dreaming of retirement? Today, we help you get organized with your essential retirement checklist. We'll cover decluttering your retirement investments, downsizing risks to your retirement, discarding and updating investments, legacy, and more. Plus, how to develop a customized retirement plan. Welcome to Retiring Today. I'm Molly Nelson here with Loren Merkle. He's a certified financial planner and a certified financial fiduciary. And the inspiration for today's show came from an article I read. And it was really interesting because the article was organizing your home for retirement, okay?
Got it.
But wait till you hear the parallels between organizing your home and organizing your financial life for retirement, because they are strong between these two. So the article said, first, start with having a vision in mind. Do you want to move? Do you want to winter somewhere else? Do you need to downsize? How do you want to use the spaces? Do you want to turn your home office into a gym or a hobby space because you're no longer working? It said to declutter. That makes sense as you get closer to retirement. It said to get your paperwork in order. I know I've got a lot of paperwork laying around and I'm not quite close to retirement quite yet. Make a plan for the items you no longer want, and keep it low maintenance. So stuff like outsourcing your yard work, your snow removal, maybe incorporating smart home technology. When I read that, Loren, and when you hear that, don't you think, oh, that's so similar to getting ready for retirement?
Yeah, I find it funny. You were reading that article, which is all about home organization, and then you were thinking about all the retirement organization that has to take place as you make that transition. Because after all, Molly, this is what we talk about most of the time when we're together, is how do you adequately prepare yourself for retirement? And organization is one of the ways that you can gain the confidence that you need as you're making these decisions. Now, home organization is on a different kind of level. This last weekend, my daughter and I, Jace, she's 12, we're organizing our kitchen. Now, the kitchen is mostly put together.
Okay.
But there's just a few things that I felt like were out of place, maybe could be organized a little bit better, so we got a buffet. And we put it in the kitchen or dining room type space.
Okay, yeah.
And then we spent some time, a couple hours, organizing different things that were kind of felt like they were out of place into the buffet. And after we were done, we both sat back and we just looked at it and we're like, wow, that feels really good. And the next day we walked into that space and we looked at it and I said, Chase, doesn't that look really good? It's just the feeling of being organized, having things put together where they belong. That just feels really good. Now that's just organizing a kitchen space. Imagine feeling like that with one of the most important things of your time, this time frame for you, which is your retirement, having your financials in place, having your decisions around Medicare and your decisions around Social Security and your decisions around what do you do with the current 401k plan or the old 401. All of those things are things that you have to pay attention to as you look to make this transition successfully from the working world to the retirement world. So many parallels in home organization and retirement planning, but ultimately it's about being confident about where things are and feeling really good about the decisions you have to make around retiring.
Is Jace busy this weekend? I could use her help.
You know, she definitely got those skills from her mom. That's the kitchen organization is not my skill set, but she did a really good job. In fact, I took the first shot at it. She looked at it. She's like, Dad, really? I was like, okay, hotshot. You think you can do better? Move anything you want. And when she got done, it looked way different and it looked way better. She might be available this weekend.
Okay, you've got a good daughter there in Jace. All right, let's get to the checklist here, because we're going to start with the same thing that was in the article, and it's have a vision in mind. And I love this, Loren, because you and the retirement planners here at Merkle Retirement, one of the first things you talk to people about either on a Retire Ready call or in one of those first visits or visits over Zoom is, what's your vision? What do you want to do in retirement?
Yeah, what's your new purpose in life? Because oftentimes when you work for 30 to 40 years, your purpose in many ways does become what you do on a day-to-day basis. But when you retire, you're not going to be doing on a day-to-day basis what you've done for the last 20, 30, 40 years. So what are your lifestyle activities? What's going to keep you busy? What keeps you fulfilled in those retirement years? And that, when we're talking about having a vision in mind, that's what it is. Do you want to travel? Do you want to travel more? Do you want to travel internationally? Do you want to follow the grandkids around? Like my grandparents retired in the mid 80s and motorhomed around the country for, it was probably 30 years. That was their vision. what's your vision? What does it look like? And if you can put pen to paper with that vision, then the other elements, the financial elements of your plan then do become much easier, because you'll construct those financial elements of your plan around what your retirement vision really is.
Yeah, it's a great way to start dreaming, but to get kind of serious about what retirement will look like. Whether you're 57 or 62, to put it down can help you start. It's one step closer to your retirement vision.
Yeah, and it could be a lot of fun, because now for the first time, you're really thinking about what your retirement activities are going to look like. And you put that on paper, be like, yes, that is what I want my retirement to look like. Or you're like, this is mostly right, kind of like my kitchen. This is mostly right, but I think we can move this or change this. And then once you have that completed, you do feel really comfortable with what you want to do on a day-to-day basis. And now it's a matter of, how do you make that happen financially?
Getting organized for retirement, your essential checklist. Item number 2, declutter. And when I think about doing this in the home, this is a huge task. And when you have 30 to 40 of working years, of investing years, of saving, decluttering all of that financial information feels like a big job too.
Yeah, and over the last, let's say 20 to 25 years, on average, people change jobs every 3 to 5 years, which means there's an employer plan that could be sprinkled around different employers, and that by itself feels cluttered. Or maybe you have some old life insurance contracts that you purchased 30 years ago. You still have them. What do you do with them? Maybe you have some old other investments like annuities that are sitting out there. All of that kind of stuff, organizing it. Do you need it? If you still need it, how's it going to work to help you secure your retirement lifestyle? How do you use it differently than you originally imagined using it 30 years ago? All of that kind of stuff needs to go into decluttering. And if you can turn, let's say, 9 different 401k accounts into one IRA, that by itself will feel a lot better. And functionally, it's going to help you accomplish your goals much better as well.
If somebody watching is going, yes, that's me, Loren. I've got several 401ks. I've got a couple of different IRAs I opened over the years. What's maybe one small little bite they can take out of that decluttering those, or where could they start first?
Yeah, I think when it comes to any of the decluttering aspects of it, find a purpose. So you have 3 old 401k plans. You have one 401k plan at employer XYZ. What is the purpose behind that particular 401k plan? Is it just to help you retire, use that money to help you retire? Are you age 56 and you need to leave it there because you can take it out and use it as income prior to age 59? Right? How are you going to use that pot of money in your overall retirement, and then make the decision to leave it there? It's an intentional decision. You know how you're going to use it and what it's going to be there for. Or you can do something better or different with it and just go down the line with all of the 401k plans, the life insurance, the annuities, the mutual funds, any of those types of things that you think are clutter now. Define a purpose for it, and that clutter is going to turn into something that's more meaningful to you.
We'll continue talking about getting organized for retirement with your essential retirement checklist next. Welcome back to Retiring Today. I'm Molly Nelson here with Loren Merkle, and we're talking about your essential checklist to get you organized for retirement. So far, we've got have a vision in mind and declutter. Next up on our checklist, consolidate. Loren, what's that mean?
Consolidate means take a look at all the different types of investment vehicles or products that you have, and then determine, do they need to stand by themselves alone, or do you put them together and have a different purpose than what originally intended? And one of the examples of that is recently we met a couple for the very first time, and they had 2 main products in their overall portfolio, and based on their preliminary plan, using those old products as they were originally designed, they were going to run out of money in their early 80s. Now, they had a fair amount of money. I mean, more money than most people have for retirement. They felt really confident coming into this that they were going to have all the money they needed and even have some money left over for their legacy, for their kids. But as we worked those products into their plan, it wasn't going to accomplish it. So what we did is we reorganized and we consolidated them into more purposeful types of accounts for where the phase of life that they're in now and what they envision for their overall retirement. And the end result of that is not only were they not going to run out of money in their early 80s, now at age 100, they were going to have 7 figures left that they could now pass on to their kids if they chose to do so. And so that's just a good example of take a look at each one of the different types of products, each one of the different types of investments you have, redefine the purpose if necessary, and then determine, do they work as the standalone? Or does it make sense to consolidate them and work them in a different way into your overall plan?
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe some life insurance you got maybe when you're first married or first had kids, to hedge against if something would happen to you, to pay for the lifestyle for the rest of the family. You might not need that kind of life insurance as you get closer to retirement.
Yeah, you may not need it, or you can redefine the purpose for it. You may not think you need it to pay off a mortgage because you're debt free, you don't have the mortgage, but can it do something else for you, especially if it's something that you bought a long time ago and the premiums are reasonable for the death benefit that you would receive. But the answer is going to be individualized to your situation. For some people, it makes complete sense. Hey, let's save the premiums, get rid of the life insurance. You don't need it. It doesn't work within your overall plan. But for others, let's look at here's another benefit that you hadn't thought of that it can really produce in your new phase of life with your retirement plan. The outcome could be different for everybody. You need to figure out what it is for you.
And one more consolidation thing I'm thinking about is we just were talking with retirement planner Clint Hunt-Rods about a family that he met recently, and they had 9 401ks. Not uncommon. People switch jobs a lot, and just going to track all those down. Our team helped this individual do that, but then consolidating them a lot of times looks like consolidating to an IRA.
Yeah, in her particular case, that did mean consolidating to an IRA, and wow, did she feel better once we were able to clean all of that up, because instead of receiving 9 different 401k statements every single month, now she receives 1 statement. And some people might look at that and say, well, isn't 9 better than 1 from a diversification standpoint, right? Am I not spreading out my risk a little bit differently or better within that? And absolutely not in that case, because each one of those 401k plans has a set of investments that she could have invested in. But on scale, it's way more limited investment selection than what she has underneath the IRA. Because with the IRA, she has the entire universe of investment options that she can create a really diversified portfolio, even more so with the 9 401k plans. And in addition to that, she has control over her money, and it's in a much more simpler fashion because she doesn't receive all those statements and have to worry about this money spread out to all those different custodians with the 9 different plans.
It's kind of like your organized buffet. All the things you needed in that location were all in one place, nice and organized.
Yeah, so if I want a particular glass, I know exactly
where it is. Thanks to Jace. Next up on our checklist, downsize risk. There are a lot of things that can pose a risk to your retirement, but part of getting organized is to make some steps to downsize those risks.
And the most common risk that people are thinking about probably right now when you say that is the market risk, because every day almost that market will move, and it's going to move up and it's going to move down. And when the market moves down is when you really don't like that market risk. But when things are good, it feels really good. But when you're 40 years old, the type of market risk that you can afford to take, that you feel comfortable with taking, is probably substantially different than when you're 2 years, 1 year, or even in retirement. And so at this point in time, you need to reevaluate what type of market risk are you taking. You need to reevaluate what comfort level of retirement risk, market risk you need to take. And you also need to look at, based on your lifestyle plan, based on the resources that you have, how much risk should you be taking to make sure that you can accomplish your goal? So all of that needs to go into your market risk evaluation to determine, are you where you need to be risk-wise, or should you make some adjustments? And when the market's up, is a great time to make adjustments if it's deemed that you need to make some adjustments. The last time you want to make, or the worst time that you can make these types of adjustments, is when the market's way down. So now's a great time to evaluate this, make some changes that are necessary, and if there's no changes that are necessary, you feel really good about it because you're in the place you need to be.
If someone at home is going, I don't know how much risk I need to take to achieve my goals. I feel like I'm in the mid-cap portfolio or the 2035 or whatever they're doing inside of their 401k. That's definitely something that you can help people through, at least start the conversation in a Retire Ready call, and then maybe move forward to a visit if that makes sense.
Yeah, when we look to build out somebody's retirement plan, that's one of the first places we start when we start with market risk, is how much risk are you taking, and do you feel comfortable with it? Are you taking too much risk than what you feel comfortable? Do you need to take more? Do you need to take less? And then we also couple that conversation with how much risk should you be taking to accomplish what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So no matter where you are now, more risk than what you feel comfortable or less, you feel better because you know what the outcome is, and you also know what kind of changes you need to make to put you in the place that you need to be from a market risk standpoint.
And our checklist item is downsize risk. So we've talked about markets, some other things within there that can be part of the conversation, laws that are constantly changing, long-term care if you should need it. And another one is taxes. Let's talk about the risk that taxes can pose to retirement.
Yeah, on the surface, tax risk actually is one of the biggest risks that most people have going into retirement, because your retirement tax bill can be substantial. And a lot of people look at taxes, most likely because you've always paid taxes, and how different could it really be in retirement? But the difference is in retirement, to a large degree, you can control what your tax bill is. When you're working, it's very difficult because you're getting paid W-2. And really, to change that, you can contribute more to your pre-tax 401 or IRA, or you can take a pay cut.
Right.
That's not very attractive to most people. But in retirement, if you create what we call tax diversification, then when you take income from these different buckets of money you have, the income you take from this bucket is going to be taxed differently than the income you take from this bucket and this bucket. So together, taking income from all of these different buckets, if you create that tax diversification, you can generate the income that you want for the lifestyle that you want, but the tax bill off of that can be substantially less. So that sounds good on the surface. The hard part is you have to work to create that tax diversification. And when it comes to decreasing your tax risk, that's where we start. Here's what you have now. Here's where we're trying to get to. What are the important steps you have to take to get there to decrease that tax risk?
And that's something you want to start ahead of time. That's not something you can do it a couple years from retirement, really, but 5 to 10. If you're 57 and older, that's when you can really start making some moves that can put you in a better tax position.
Yeah, decreasing all of these risks, time is your friend. You do not want to wait until you're a year out from retiring or even retired. If you can start 5 to 10 years out from retiring, that is ideal. But if you're sitting there saying, Loren, it's too late, I'm a year out, I want to retire next year, that doesn't mean it's too late. Now is the time to get started, whether you're a year out or 10 years out. But the more time you have on your side, the better plans you can put into place.
We've got 3 more items on our Getting Organized for Retirement Essential Checklist next. Welcome back to Retiring Today. We're talking about getting organized for retirement, and we've got your essential checklist. Here's what we've gone over. Have a vision in mind. Declutter, consolidate, and downsize risk. Next up, we have discard. And Loren, especially, you want to talk about discarding some of those interest rate driven products.
Yeah, when we're thinking about discarding types of products right now, because of where interest rates are now compared to where they were, let's say 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, there's a lot of products that you can update with that will be positively impacted because of the higher interest rates. And 2 products that come to mind are annuities and CDs. So if you purchased an annuity, let's say even 3-4 years ago, interest rates were near zero. Interest rates are much higher now. Those insurance companies price those products based on where those interest rates are when you bought them. So there's a lot of people out there who are able to discard those old annuities. And even if you want the guaranteed type of annuity product, you can replace it with another annuity that offers you much higher guaranteed. And the simple function of that is because interest rates are higher. Same thing with CDs at the bank. CDs that maybe you had a 5-year CD 3 years ago and they were paying you 2%, something around that realm, and CDs are paying much more, or there's CD alternatives if this is money that you're not going to need for a couple years that you can use and get even a higher rate of return potentially than what you could receive at the bank. So when I'm thinking about discarding right now, it's very much environmentally driven by the interest rate environment. And the way I think about how to use banks right now is use them for operational money, right? Your checking account, maybe some emergency type funds. That's the types of ways to use them because of the rates that they're paying. And then we can look out for 1 to 2 year type money, 2 to 3 year type of money, but in other ways that are going to pay a higher rate, but still offer similar guarantees in what you could do for that. So now's an excellent time to evaluate the different products you have. Some will need to go, some will need to stay, and it could provide you big benefits based on interest rates alone are where they're at today.
And when you're thinking about discarding or keeping the products, there's a lot of factors. I'm hearing interest rates, when you purchase the product, how much is in it, fees. It's very specific to what you have in your situation. So a retire ready call is a great opportunity to talk about exactly what's going on with you, because you don't want to make a blanket decision. Maybe what works for somebody else may not work for you.
Yeah, and even on the retire ready call, we're not making any decisions. It's informational gathering for you. So the questions that you've been thinking about, any questions might have been spurred from this conversation here on the show or other shows, or just conversations you're having with coworkers or family members. There's a lot of questions that you have in this time frame of your life, and things are constantly changing, which can change the questions or even the answers to the questions. And that's what we can cover in the retire ready call. It's a very comfortable conversation. It's very casual. What's top of mind for you? And the retirement planner you're talking to can give you some instant feedback, instant answers to your questions, but also can spur some additional questions that maybe you haven't thought of yet. And one of the things I really like about it is it can start you on your way to building your retirement plan with the lifestyle vision in mind.
RetireReadyCall.com is where you can go to set up a call. Right now, there's a calendar there. You can choose a time and a date, and then you can have a one-on-one conversation, ask about what's on your mind, have a casual conversation with someone about your retirement. 2 more items on the checklist, and the next one is update. Specifically, we're looking at will, beneficiary, some of those documents.
Yeah, these are the things that people don't realize they need to update a lot of times until it's too late. And then because it's too late, it's their kids that realize that the updates really should have taken place. Going back to the individual who had the 9 old 401k plans, try to imagine keeping up to date on those beneficiaries, because what we see in the 401k world is the employers do change their custodians. So instead of the employer plan being at Schwab, maybe they move it to Fidelity or Empower, and not always does that beneficiary designation change with that. So this individual had to keep up with all of those changes along the way. It's just impossible to do so. But you want to make sure that your beneficiaries are intact the way that you want to. You need to evaluate what your overall legacy plan is. A lot of times we talk to families and I'll ask them, I say, when's the last time you updated your will? And their response is, well, when Junior was, right, and they're going to go to their aunts. And so you need to make sure that those documents are updated. Do you have all the proper legacy documents up to date to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? All of that would go into this particular section of the checklist.
And a lot of this parallels with getting your home ready for retirement, going to low maintenance, going to things that you can be more hands-off with because you've made the updates and you don't have to worry about it. Gives you that confidence. And the last thing on our checklist is develop a retirement plan. This is a process that takes a little bit of work, but there is a lot of reward on this one, just like organizing your kitchen.
Just like, now when you walk in, when I walk into my kitchen, I feel really good about it. Jace feels really good about it, and we did it together. When you were talking about organizing your retirement, the retirement plan is that organization. And in that retirement plan, at the very top of it is going to be your lifestyle. It's your retirement vision. And then the 5 pillars that go into the retirement plan will help you accomplish your retirement vision. And the first pillar is you need income. When you retire, you need income to help you live that retirement vision, but you also need a tax plan because your retirement tax bill can be really big. How do you decrease that? You also need a healthcare plan. You need to figure out how are you going to have healthcare after you retire, if you retire prior to 65, but also a Medicare plan once you do obtain age 65. You also need an investment plan and then a legacy plan. So all of those 5 financial pillars are put together to help you achieve your lifestyle pillar. So 6 pillars total, and we call that the Retire Secure Roadmap.
Yeah, it's a beautiful visual representation of a retirement plan. Everything is covered. So it really is essentially downsizing, keeping it low maintenance. You do the work to put the plan together, and then you can go enjoy your retirement vision. You don't have to worry about the markets if they're up or down because you've already built a portfolio that's recession resistant. It's a beautiful thing to hand to people, Loren.
It's a retirement organizational binder. So not only does it keep you organized, confident, and comfortable as you go through retirement, but let's say you pass. Now your kids can go to this organizational binder. They can see as of that date, here's all the accounts that you have, here's where they're at, this is your life insurance, this is your will, this is your trust document. All of that is in one nice, easy place to make their transition a lot easier after you're gone.
It gives people a lot of peace of mind. This is Retiring Today, and we thank you for watching. If you like this video, click here for more great content. Don't forget to subscribe to be connected with others just like you who are looking for engaging and entertaining retirement strategies.